This is Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given is not intended to replace that of your business advisor. Now, let's get down to talking about your business, your success. This is Business Talk.
Well, here we go again. Good afternoon, Michelle.
Good afternoon, Pete. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good.
This is Business Talk with Michelle and Pete, and we are talking about your business and your success. And Michelle and I are both business coaches.
Yes.
What is that? What is a business coach?
That's everybody's favorite question.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah. I would say the business coach is almost like the personal trainer, your personal trainer to
for
your body.
Your business.
And we're the personal trainer for your business.
Right. We usually don't run out on the field.
That's right. We don't make you do push-ups
unless
you really want to.
We don't do push-ups, but we'll make you do them.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, yeah, we really work with a lot of really great, successful businesses, but help them get to their next level of success. Because sometimes when your business is doing well, you get really comfortable, and it's easy to get complacent and not really push yourself forward, or you might have things that you really want to get to, but you never get to them because you're always stuck what we call working in your business, which means dealing with the day-to-day emergencies that just continue to come up.
Things that fill your minutes, your days,
right.
your hours, right?
Absolutely. And, people ask a lot, well, aren't you a consultant? And, in some ways, they're very similar, but in a lot of ways, it's very different because a consultant might just come in and tell you exactly what you need to do.
Or actually do it for you in some cases.
Absolutely.
And we avoid that most of the time.
Yep.
And we generally ask a lot of questions and help you come to your own conclusions.
Right.
And we might show you a different path that you may not have thought of.
Yep.
There are times because of our experience and the other clients that we work with, we've had other people in similar situations, and there are a lot of opportunities to attack a problem a different way.
For sure.
And you've got to choose one that fits you.
Yep, exactly. And we, also get a lot of ideas. We get our clients together quite frequently so that they can share ideas with each other. In fact, we have our Growth Club, our 90-day planning session coming up here in September.
Right.
And
the 15th, right?
On September 15th,
right.
Yes. And so that's something that we put together with all of our customers so they can come together and work on what they want to work on for the next quarter, get all their goals and strategies and action plans together, take time away from their business, out of their business to put all of their ideas down in writing so they're going to hold themselves accountable. And that's partially what we will work on in our coaching sessions when we meet with our customers once a week.
But the 90-day planning session, if there is someone in the audience that would like to attend with one other person in their business, a couple of people, you can give us a call at 614-306-7922, and we'll get you in there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so our topic today, Michelle, is what?
Our topic today is what we call the 5 ways to increase your business profits. So it's
leverage.
Leveraging our time and making sure that what are the different ways that we can generally impact a business financially with different strategies and goals.
Before we get into that, we'll give you a little good news.
Yeah,
we've
we
got
always
a lot
like
of
good news.
Now, this past week, we had the 8th Dow Industrial record in a row.
That's amazing.
The stock market's reaching new territory almost on a daily basis. And, it's going to end at some point, of course, but it's fun
to watch when it's
encouraging, and it's a reflection of good job numbers and generally a pretty favorable business climate is what our clients are seeing. Yep. And I've got a couple of articles here. Of course, we're in the Midwest. There's a lot of manufacturing in here still, even though we think that it's way down. The value of U.S. manufacturing is actually much higher than it was 20 years ago.
Wow.
The dollar value.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't take quite as many people to produce those items, those things, right? Because we're a little more automated.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily bad. But I've got 2 articles here, one by Toyota, and they haven't picked a location yet, but they're going to spend a huge amount of money, $1.6 billion on a factory scheduled to open by 2021, and they're still looking at where they're going to place that.
Right.
But that's Toyota Motor Company. And then also Foxconn, now this is an even bigger one, they're going to spend $10 billion on a factory in Wisconsin.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good.
And we can say Wisconsin, right? We don't say Michigan, but we
right.
say Wisconsin, even though Wisconsin is a pretty good football team as well.
We may hate them
but
sometimes.
$10 billion to build a factory.
That's great.
That's a big factory.
Yeah, in reality.
4,000 jobs. And these are probably going to be pretty high-paying jobs.
Yeah.
So,
right.
And the ripple effect on the other industries in the area will be huge.
For sure.
So that's really good news.
And really just having any factories and industries being built in America is definitely a big win. You
That's
know,
great.
Getting more Americans out there working and bringing things back home.
Boeing has climbed dramatically. It's up. Oh my goodness, their earnings are up 55% this year, and they've got they just got orders for 2,100 planes from India, worth $290 billion. Wow. That's almost hard to imagine.
Yeah.
$290 billion worth of orders.
That's crazy.
And it's nothing to do with what they're building now. It's just,
right.
Holy
Things
cow.
to
So
come.
that's good.
That
anyway.
is good. Lots of growth.
All right. So
Lots
there
of
we
good
go.
stuff
So that's
happening.
good news. The reason we do that is that a lot of the news programs, the newspapers that you read, and especially the local news, some of those things, there's murders and crime and all this stuff going on. It's like there's got to be something that's going on that's good, and there are a lot of things that are going on that are good.
Yep.
So
you just got to get past all the
right. So
the
tune
negative
in every
stuff
week,
before.
and you'll hear a little more of that.
That's right. We'll share some more good stuff. So that's great.
All right. So Michelle, why don't you kick this off of how this 5 ways helps you to increase profits in your business.
Right.
And it's pretty much, it's any business.
Any business, for sure. Yeah, this is definitely a big thing that we work on with our customers and helping them, because obviously we're in business. Everybody is in business ultimately to make money. Now, you might have picked your business because you have a certain passion for it. You love
enjoy
it.
the technical aspect of it, right?
Exactly.
Or you're a good technician or a good attorney or a good somebody who likes to run a factory.
Exactly.
Great.
Yep. But sometimes we find businesses that are not necessarily making a profit or making any money, and there's a lot more stress on the business owner.
A lot of times it's untapped potential. You have a lot more potential in your business than you realize.
Exactly.
If you operate these 5 ways the way we're going to suggest, you can make a whole lot more money.
Exactly.
Not with more effort either.
Right.
With less effort in all cases.
Yeah, a lot of less effort. So when we talk about the 5 ways, there's basically 5 different areas that we like to look at to figure out where that untapped potential, that low-hanging fruit is in order to generate more income for your business, not only your gross revenue, but your profit margin, to make sure that that is larger. So do you want to...
So it's really all about net profit, right?
Right.
We don't want to have you work harder and make the same amount of money.
Right.
That's not the idea. We're not talking about growing sales, although growing sales is a good idea.
Exactly.
Generally.
Right.
But not always.
But not always, yeah.
But we really want to increase your net profit, what you get to take home at the end of the day.
Right. Once all the expenses are paid, all the employees are done, you've paid the rent, everything that you've bought is covered and paid for, you have money left at the end of the day. So a lot of these things, they factor into each other. So
why don't you give us all 5 of them, and then we'll come back and start drilling into one of them.
Okay. So the first one is your number of leads or prospects coming in. The second is converting those prospects into becoming a customer. So we go through and have our number of leads that we had in any given period of time. We multiply that by the percentage that we're converting, and that gives us our number of customers that we're seeing in whatever the given time that we're looking at. And then, so number of leads and conversion rate 1 and 2. The third would be our number of transactions.
So how many times in a given time period does a customer, an individual customer, buy from you? Is it daily? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Or if you're a real estate broker, maybe it's once every 5 years or something like that.
Exactly. Every industry is going to have its own pattern as to how frequent that normally is. But what can we do to capitalize on that and get them in our door more often? And then we have our average dollar sale. So that's number 4, average dollar sale, or on average, how much does each customer spend every time that they come in and use our products or services? And that will give us our revenue. So if we time our total number of clients by the number of times they came in the door or the number of transactions, also by their average dollar sale, will give us our gross revenue for whatever period of time that we're looking at. And then the 5th and final thing that we can impact is the profit margin, seeing how much profit we can still take home after we pay everything else and leave us with our money left.
Super. So lead generation, conversion rate, number of transactions, average dollar sale, and profit margin. So those are the 5.
Those are the 5 things that we're going to work on. So.
And so those of you that are business owners that are out there getting scared, don't worry. We generally, the first thing we like to do is get a baseline and measure where are you now.
Right.
So we're a little more than halfway through a year. You could do last year and the first 7 months of this year, or just the first 7 or 8 months of this year, and look at it. And that's what we call just a baseline.
Exactly.
Where are you currently?
Where are you now?
If we measured all the way across your business, and a lot of our clients have multiple product lines or service lines, if they're service business, so we'd like to measure individually.
Exactly. And one of our first meetings when we sit down with a new customer or a potential customer for coaching is kind of look at these different numbers. As you said, see the baseline and look at what the potential could be. Kind of let's put some play numbers in and see if we could increase things, how much better they would be. So, it's definitely something that we can sit down with you in your business. If you want to give us a call, we can definitely set up a time to go through these. And we don't want you to be scared because not everybody knows these numbers when we sit down with them immediately. So when we explain it and help you look through, your reports, your profit and loss, and different things, we can help you figure out some of these things.
And we'd like to pick a relatively small number, one or two of these strategies in one or two areas.
Right.
So we're not going to work on 20 things at once.
Exactly.
We're going to pick a couple
right.
and work on them. And if they work, we'll systemize them and keep doing them. If they don't work, we'll move on to something else.
Right.
And we'll make sure that you systemize it so that it maintains its ability to work for you.
Absolutely.
So it's leverage, right?
Exactly. When we get back, we'll go through these and we will figure out some strategies.
Starting with lead generation.
You got it.
Could your business use some help? Call 614-306-7922 to schedule your coaching session. 614-306-7922. Now, here's more business talk.
So we're talking today about leveraging your time and your team's time and your energy toward earning more in your business. So being able to take more net profit out of the business.
Right.
And there are a lot of different strategies we could use, but we're going to talk about the 5 different areas where you could execute those strategies. And we start with lead generation.
Right. So lead generation. So when you think about leads, the first thing is, are you even measuring the leads that you have coming in?
Oh, sure.
Because
that's a place to start.
Yep.
Right.
Some people aren't asking at all how people are hearing about them. Some people are just asking the people that do come in and buy something from them. And that's great. I mean, it's good information to have to know how the customers that actually bought something from you are coming.
We generally have a set of existing customers who've been coming to you for years.
Right.
That's not who we're talking about.
Right.
We obviously want to hang on to those folks, and that's not the topic of the today's show. What we would suggest, though, is that you find a simple way to keep track of where these leads are coming from.
Yep.
Somebody in the beginning of your business, the first point of contact in the business, whether it's answering the phone or an email, or if you have walk-ins, that type of thing.
Right.
You want to know where those folks are coming from, why they're coming in.
Absolutely. It's really, spending money on marketing just for the sake of spending money really isn't doing anything for you. We want to make sure that you're getting a return.
Yeah, we're not Pepsi or Coke or somebody like that, right?
Exactly.
Generally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Generally, if
we want to
spend
spend advertising or marketing dollars and get a return on investment for the dollars spent.
Exactly.
With a mid-sized business.
Right.
That's what we want.
And so if we're not tracking and measuring where our leads are coming in, we may not know which of our campaigns are working. You might have multiple things running, and we want to make sure.
And if you haven't tracked, that's okay. Just start now.
Exactly.
So start now or get it organized so that in a month or so you have all the systems set up. And we really like to keep it simple.
Yep.
It's a pad or a notebook or a checklist by the phone with the half a dozen different places they could come from, and you just put a check mark. Something simple enough where people will actually do it.
Right.
And then after a month or two, you can go back and look at that information. It's extremely valuable.
Yes. And the first thing you may have to get over is training your staff to ask the question, how did you hear about us? How did you, whether they're calling on the phone or if they stop in the door. And again, we don't want to just find out people that are buying from us. We want to find out for anybody that's calling and inquiring about our business. And it also could be tracking your website to see where people are getting to your website from, to do your Google Analytics or whatever analyzing system that you may have on the back end of your website to figure out where those leads are coming in from.
The other point about lead generation is that this is generally when we first start working with a business. It's in a lot of cases you ask somebody, well, what would I want to do first? Well, they want to go right to this.
Right.
This generally takes more time and money than some of the other ones. And we'll get to conversion rate in a minute.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, we go there first.
Right.
Because with some changes in scripts or words or techniques, you can, with very little money, change your outcome.
Right, exactly.
Lead generation costs time and money.
It does cost time and money, and we don't want to overwhelm your business with a ton of new leads, a ton of new interest and customers coming in if your systems aren't set up to handle that.
If you are converting at 4%,
right.
Why bother?
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. Why throw all that money away?
Okay.
So, some very simple ideas. I do have a marketing background, but I'm not necessarily at all interested in making my customers spend money on marketing things that may not make sense for their business. So depending on the business, sometimes TV and radio makes sense because you want to hit a large variety of people, and that obviously impacts a lot of people in the smallest amount of time. However, that might not make sense for somebody who only wants customers from a tiny little
I've always wanted to buy one
area.
of those planes, and put our company name behind one of those banners,
I think that'd be fun. Yeah. May not make sense for us, but it would be
Maybe
fun.
not. I don't know.
We would feel proud watching it go by.
The roofing companies are zooming in and out,
Right, exactly. So, at Action Coach, we have over 84 strategies for ideas for our customers on what they can do to generate leads.
Okay.
So, it's important to have lots of different
give us a couple
varieties.
of your favorites.
So some of my favorites, public relations and press releases, letting people know what you're doing, because it's, can be a free and simple thing to send out to your local newspaper, to send to a radio show. If you're doing some sort of charity event, get your word out there. If you've got some sort of great award,
so
let people know.
we've got the Columbus Dispatch, we've got Business First, the local business paper, and they're looking for stories.
Right, exactly. Not everything will get necessarily picked up, but some of it
That's
will.
Okay.
Exactly.
You hire a great new employee,
right?
And maybe you've changed locations.
Yeah, and especially the smaller suburb papers. So you might have the Dublin News or something.
Suburban News.
The suburban news channels are definitely looking for things that are happening in their own community.
Okay.
Other ideas is just a brochure. Do you even have a brochure for your company? I know we get so focused on the web stuff these days.
Right, we
do. But if you are going to be attending any kind of community events or things like that, do you have a piece of paper that people can take that has information about your company?
And nowadays, these are very inexpensive to produce.
Absolutely.
Not as they were years ago, but you can produce some very high quality brochures and trifold type things
easily.
Okay.
Yep. And you can be a thing there. You design it once and maybe you have to update some minor things here and there, but it doesn't have to be a major expense every time that you need to get it printed. So another thing that there are groups out there that a lot of people don't necessarily know about, but barter or exchange groups. That's an interesting way because it's untapped potential if you haven't looked into that on where we can go and do things with trading. So I think that's something that we can definitely look at and do an interesting idea. Building signage. I mean, when is the last time you updated?
If you own your own building,
right.
You should put a sign on your building.
Yeah. And if you don't have one, is it time to get a new one? Get one. But if you have one, has it been updated? How old is it? Is it well lit? Is it attract attention? Different things like that. So definitely something to look into.
Internet. What about generating leads through the internet?
Internet is definitely super important. And whether you take a class or learn how to do search engine optimization for your website, or you hire somebody to do it, which is what I would recommend, because it is a very confusing world. It's changing all the time.
So you really need an expert in some cases to do that.
Yeah. And also, your social media. Social media is key these days. You have to have a presence on social media, be out there doing all kinds of things to make sure that everything continues to run as a well-oiled machine and people are engaged with you. So let's see some other ideas here. Testing and measuring. You talked about, it starts with knowing where you are and seeing what's working. Because if we don't
the
know
other
if
thing
it's working,
that we want to throw in there as an idea is that you may have, let's say you have 3 different methods for generating leads historically, right? We want you to measure acquisition cost.
Right.
So do you want to explain that, or I can?
We
want to make sure that you know the cost of bringing in a lead from that source.
Right, exactly. And then you also want to know, on average, how much people that are coming from that source are spending.
It's a separate thing. But first, we want to know the acquisition cost, where if you spent $1,000 on some event, and you got 2 leads from that event, it'd be $500 a lead, right?
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
that would be the cost of acquisition.
Right.
And then, of course, if you know your conversion rate, you can figure out how many of these leads would it take to pay for this event in the future.
Absolutely.
And we work with people on trade shows and things like that to make sure we track what's going on.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean you won't go to the trade show, but sometimes if you have 4 shows you could go to, you might drop one if the cost per lead is much higher at one show versus another.
Right. Yeah. And when we're talking about lead generation, we talk about wanting to have at least 10 different lead methods that you're out there trying to attract leads to come in.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
To diversify.
However,
we want to start with, we're going to start measuring, and then we're going to start building them one at a time.
Absolutely. But if you have 0, especially, we need
if you have 0, that's a problem.
We'll start with 3.
Call
if you already
right
have
away.
3, we need to measure and see what's going on. But we maybe need to add some other options too.
Right.
But as Pete mentioned, this is not something that we necessarily want to jump to ahead of the other ones. If there's simple and inexpensive ways that we can make a business impact later on. So, there's, like I said, over 84 different strategies here.
Just leads. Now, these things came from a book called Instant Cash Flow, written by Brad Sugars a few years ago, and it's at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can get it online.
For sure.
It's paperback, a good book, and it's very to the point.
Yeah.
So every one of these 84 strategies has a page or a paragraph that describes the strategy, how you do it.
Yep. It gives you all
pretty
kinds
simple.
of ideas.
And some of them, they're Australian, so we don't understand them.
Right.
But most of them are pretty self-explanatory.
Absolutely. Yep. And again, when you come to our 90-day planning session, our growth club, September 15th, that we have all our different clients there. And this is a lot of things that people can share with each other, because even if we have, say, a plumber there and a lawyer there and a veterinarian there, something that the plumber did may translate to something that the veterinarian could do in their own world, and make a difference there. So,
So lead generation, that's strategy number 1.
Number 1.
And again, this is Business Talk with Michelle and Pete, and we're talking about your business, and we're business coaches, and we're talking about how to leverage your time and your money to earn more money in your business through these 5 ways.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, so the next one is?
So the next one would be our conversion rate. So again, when you have these leads coming in, it's great to have the phone ringing off the hook or people bopping in and stopping in. But if you can't convince those
want them
people
to buy something,
to actually buy something,
hey, good to see you,
to become an actual customer, then we could just be throwing our marketing dollars out the door.
Okay.
So if we're not treating them well when they come through the door, if we're not giving them a reason to buy from us, then our conversion rate could be very low. So depending on the industry and, the conversion rate could be a lot lower because it's a harder sale, a much more expensive sale, like buying a new house or a car, something like that. But a bakery the conversion rates might be a lot higher because people come in expecting to buy a cookie, so they buy a cookie.
Right. So, they're hungry, right?
Exactly. So it definitely can be something that we work on. But sometimes people think, well, how can I change that? They either want to buy or they don't want to buy.
First of all, we want to measure it. Right. Number 1, if you're not measuring it, start measuring it.
Exactly.
And if you have multiple sources of leads, we like to measure those conversions by source as well.
Sure.
So we want to know where the leads came from. Yeah. We also want to measure the conversion rate for those leads.
Yes, exactly.
Because, an example of trade shows, we mentioned that, is that when we go to a trade show, there's pre-planning that goes for clients. And once you have to go there and execute, right? And meet people and make sure they know what your products and services are. And then we also want to keep track at the end. Well, I met 10 people.
Right.
4 of them are interested.
Yeah.
And 2 of them converted into clients. So we want that information coming in.
Absolutely. To know what your marketing dollars are doing from those lead generations, what you're doing, and the conversion rate can also be something that we track as far as a key performance indicator for individual salespeople or staff members. So when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the strategies for a conversion rate, and then we'll get into our number of transactions will be after that.
So something you said there just triggered a thought in my head is if you've got multiple salespeople, we want to track conversion rate by salesperson.
Right.
We also want to track it by the source of the lead.
Yes.
Because you may be spending thousands of dollars on a couple different lead generation sources.
Yeah.
And it may appear that you're doing better with one or the other, but if you don't know the conversion rate, you can't really tell.
Right. Absolutely. It is important to track. And again, we had mentioned number of transactions, so we'll do that next.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
Well, we're talking today about 5 ways to increase profit. And Michelle, we've gone through, there are 5 things: lead generation, conversion rate, numbers of transactions, average sale, and profit margins. And we've already covered lead generation.
Right.
Let's go into conversion rate in some detail.
Absolutely. So we wanted to give you some different strategies on how you can get conversion convert leads into
at
customers
a higher rate.
at a higher
once
rate.
you've measured it, you've got to measure it.
Absolutely. Measuring first and foremost of pretty much everything that we do.
Right.
And that's something that we help you figure out if you don't know how to get that done. The first is written guarantees. And guarantees is something that people sometimes shy away from because they're like, oh, people are going to abuse me. People are going to take advantage. I'm going to lose money by offering a guarantee to my service. But it really gets people to have that comfort level in your business, the comfort level in the purchase, especially if it's a larger
new customer,
business.
new client, hasn't worked with you before. And
Exactly.
one question we like to ask people is that what if you had an actual failure in your business, failure to deliver,
Right.
either a machine that you delivered didn't work right, or if you make a mistake, if you're a service business and something not a desired outcome happens with the customer, what would you do in that case, or what have you done? And 99% of the time, you have stopped what you're doing, you run over there, you fix it.
Yeah.
Or if it's a service issue, you take care of the problem and help this customer and make sure they feel good about it.
Exactly.
So really, all we're proposing is that you put that down in writing.
Yeah.
Whatever you would do to make sure that they're whole or even better than they were beforehand, put it down in writing to assure new customers that you're going to take care of them.
Exactly. And it's something you, like you said, are probably already doing, but let's put it in writing. Let's make it happen.
And sometimes we have a little fun with it. We have a couple of occasional Amish clients.
Yeah.
And one of our clients is a timber framer, and they're up in the Loudonville area. And they put a 100-year guarantee on their timber frames.
Wow.
Now, most of us aren't going to be around on the 99th year after we built a home when I'm 50 or whatever, but it's just kind of, hey, this structure's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And
they feel confident enough to put that down there. They can say 1,000 years, right?
Yeah, right.
Good. Develop your own product line. So, again, getting people where they only can come to you in order to get whatever it is that you're doing. So that could be anything related to any industry. You can make that happen. A testimonial list is very important, knowing that others have used your services and that they're happy with your services.
Oh, and those are simple on your website.
Very simple on your website.
Or video testimonials are popular as well. So either short, it's got to be short.
Yeah, short.
Of course, my attention span's like a tsetse fly or whatever those little. But short paragraph or even a couple sentences on the website or a video that you can click on.
Exactly.
Yep.
Encouraging reviews on your Facebook page and different things like that. On-hold messaging, so letting people know what you offer when they're stuck on hold. We hope to not keep people on hold too long, but when they are, hearing dead air, or I even worked with a customer once that has a beep, and it was very irritating. Anytime they put me on hold, it's just like beep, beep, and it just drove me crazy. So, have something entertaining for people if you're going to have them on hold, but on-hold messaging to tell them what they don't know that you offer is another
And if you
great
can, get them off hold.
Yes, exactly. Get them on hold.
Speaking of someone who doesn't like being on hold.
Right, exactly. Definitely don't try to keep them on hold for too long, too fun. Definitely talk about, educate people about the value so that they're not so stuck on the price. Make sure that your service is above and beyond. I know we've done other shows on customer service specifically, so if you missed that show, you may want to visit our website, which is takeactionbusinesscoaching.com, to brush up on some of the customer service skills. Because
and if you get on the website, you can go to the Business Talk icon, and that's where the shows are.
Yes, absolutely. So again, get on people's emotions, tell them their emotions, make them feel like this is something they can't live without, doing those type of things. Certainly there's also the fear tactic of, there will only have so many left. You're going to run out of time.
The takeaway.
Exactly. Get this done
man.
before it runs out. And then also just staying in touch. If you don't make that sale right away, don't stop trying to reach out to that customer, because depending on your industry, it may take a few touches. Sometimes it takes 10 different times reaching out to a person before they finally fall through and convert. So again, depending on your industry, that might be important.
Well, the other thing to think about if you're in your sales organization is that we like to keep track of common stumbling blocks or things that people put in the way of why they're not taking action.
Right.
And then put that as part of your early on in your sales process to make sure that whatever concern they have, you address it before they even ask about it.
Right, for sure.
And that way you're getting rid of objections before they even happen.
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of great sales books out there that you could read that will help you with that type of a thing. But
exactly.
You need to assuage people's fears before they even think of them,
right.
and let them know that here's the process you're going to go through when we start working with you.
Absolutely.
We'll start the design, and then we'll purchase materials, and then we're going to review this design with you, and so on,
right.
and make sure they know they're there every part of the way.
Yeah.
And generally, when you do that, you can increase your conversion rate somewhat.
For sure. Well, one of our customers is a remodeler, and they made a great little sheet that shows the clients, when they're going to love
their
them and when
emotional
they're going to hate
state.
them.
Yes.
Exactly. Because they will admit right in their sales, script that at one point you're going to hate us because we're going to be in your kitchen. It's going to be torn up, and it's going to be, we're going to try to keep it as
just want to cook dinner and you can't.
Possible.
Yes.
But yeah, if it's especially a long remodel, you're going to be really sick of looking at us and having us in your way. And it's unfortunately just part of the process.
But it's reality. You've been through it.
Exactly. I have
yourself.
Been through it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the timing was, my husband had just had surgery and the 2 small kids, and it was 6 weeks of a lot of work, but it was worth it in the end. So, just letting people know the expectations of what's going to happen. And again, if you have a great salesperson that is converting way more people to become customers, what are they saying? What are they doing? Make a script for the other sales team, or have them teach the other people on your team.
Or go with the other person occasionally and learn if you can.
Absolutely. Take advantage of that. So we've gone through how to get new leads, new prospects. We've talked about how to convert them into being a customer. So we have this customer coming. Now we want them to come more and more and more.
Well, one last thing on conversion rate. Sure. One suggestion I'd have, and it may be on that list as well. And how many are there in conversion rate?
83.
83?
Yes.
Okay, so 83 is just reading.
Right.
How many of you, if you own a business, have you read a sales book in the last year?
Sure.
Just read one a year.
Yeah.
And if you take a tidbit or two out of that one book, they probably have 50 things that they want you to do. Just pick one or two.
Absolutely.
If you actually implement them, you're going to be ahead of most business owners in the country.
Absolutely.
Because very few people read a lot.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of really good suggestions.
For sure.
And a lot of it is about making sure that client understands how well you treat your customers you already have.
Right. Yep.
And if you can get that across early on, you're going to increase your ability to start to work with them.
For sure. Absolutely. So again, this is Business Talk with Pete and Michelle. We have our other partner, Peg, is not here today, but we're just checking in and helping you with different ways for your business. Today we're going through the 5 ways to increase your profits. We went through our number of leads and our conversion rate to get our customers that are coming in. And now we want to figure out how to get our customers to buy from us more often, how to increase their number of transactions. Again, depending on your industry, this rate might be faster, might be slower. If it's a bakery or a pizza company, or you might want them to come in, every week or a couple times a week. For a coffee shop, you might want them there every day or a couple times a day. Different things that you can do to get them in the door. If it's something like your dentist, you're hoping to get them in 2 to 3 times a year.
So we work with a couple of law firms, and generally you're brought into a law firm for a specific purpose, right?
Absolutely.
And there's all kinds of purposes.
Yep.
And a lot of the firms, a couple of firms that we work with have multiple lines of business.
Right.
Now, each lawyer is not specialized in every area.
Sure.
But if you need your will done as well,
and
it's not now, but when the time comes, if you have a great relationship, hopefully you would use the same firm.
Exactly. And, when we talk about different strategies for our number of transactions, the number one thing is educating your customer on the services that you offer. So if I go to you because I was in a car accident and you're a lawyer, I may not realize that you have somebody on your team that can do my will, so that if, God forbid, the next car accident doesn't turn out as well, then, that's all set up for a family, or, different things like that. So, that is definitely a big thing, is just educating your customer on how frequently they should be coming in. Say, in the case of the dentist, did you educate this person on how often they should come in for a cleaning? Did you educate them that you have a whitening service, to help with whitening their teeth?
Make sure they know everything that you do.
Exactly.
And this is especially important with your existing clients, because that's overlooked in a lot of cases.
Right, exactly.
New people might know more than existing clients, clients you've had for years.
For sure. Okay. Yep. So in that education, you might have a video in your waiting room. You might have,
the
you
TV.
should definitely have all of this on your website. You have things on your social media, but also, planning future events with your current customers. That can be moments to show them things that you have, or a special buying day that you might get them in. You might create that they have a membership or a VIP program that you're, excellent top customers. You're going to treat them to a special day for special promotions that you maybe have going on, or even a special phone number that they can call that they're going to get through and get the best service that could ever get through. You got it. Deliver consistency. Consistency is the number one thing that we see fall through, especially as companies are growing.
You meet their expectations
really
all the time.
Exactly.
And you've got to systemize things in order to do that.
Exactly. Even exceed those expectations. So just staying in regular contact, setting up their next appointment. Hairdressers, they want you in every 6 to 8 weeks. Go ahead and set that appointment now. The dentist wants you in every 3 to 4 months.
Oh.
Yeah. If you don't get me before I walk out the door, I'm likely to forget your name and number and never call you back.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go ahead.
You won't show up until your hair's sticking out.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. I mean, look at now. It's getting down to I'm almost Rapunzel here. My hair's getting so long.
Fine. It comes in handy.
Exactly. So just take advantage of those things.
Could your business use some help? Call 614-306-7922 to schedule your coaching session. 614-306-7922. Now, here's more business talk.
So we're talking today about 5 ways to increase your profit in your business, and we've talked about lead generation, we've talked about conversion rate, and we've talked about number of transactions, getting people to come in a little more often.
Right.
And the last 2 are average sale, the dollar value of each sale,
yes,
and then profit margins.
Yes.
So, Michelle, hit us with some sales
Absolutely.
ideas. How many are here? There's a little smaller number here.
A little smaller in the average dollar sale. There's 54.
54 ways to increase the average amount that a customer buys.
Exactly. So you may have one customer that comes in and spends, $75, and then you have another customer that comes in and spends $1,000.
Well, we have a client who builds machinery, and their add-ons are thousands of dollars.
Right.
But in a lot of cases, all the clients don't know all the things that they could do for them.
Right.
There's automation they can do. There's equipment they can do to allow people within the office to see the information that's on the machinery.
Right.
There are light curtains to keep people's hands out of things. There are things to reduce noise. There's all kinds of things, lighting. And every time they have a custom machine, they have a new opportunity to offer new things to new customers.
Sure.
So they do a lot of custom work, and one of their challenges has been communicating their opportunities for helping people even more to their clients. So.
Absolutely. And sometimes we do have some of these areas the ideas go back and forth into how they can affect different ways, but that's, even better. If it affects more than one area, that's great. So again, you were talking about educating the client. We talked about that in number of transactions as far as getting them to come back for future services, but it also is a big impact on average dollar sales, you were saying, because when we're doing the service for them, what can we add on? What can we get them to do? And again, it's not necessarily, don't want you to feel like the slimy person that's trying to trick them into things that they don't need.
Well, no, but we do want to, in a respectful and professional way, is to let them know, here's something we could handle for you if you'd like.
Exactly.
And if they don't, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
We don't put them in a headlock.
Right, exactly. It's just letting them know the things that they don't know. We always say you don't know what you don't know till you know it. So, educating them on things that might happen. An easy way to increase your average dollar sale is increase your prices. Is that something that you've not done in 20 years?
I hope it's not that long.
But pretty regularly you
need to look at your prices. But even with inflation at 1.5 or 2% in 3 or 4 years, you do need to make an adjustment.
Absolutely.
Because your prices, your raw materials and your energy costs and everything else is going up.
Right, exactly.
It always goes up steadily,
yes,
sometimes faster than others. But
you
do need to, that's a simple way to do it.
Exactly.
You can do that with your keystroke.
That's right. Just choo-choo. Yep. We just made more money.
And again, you could do some research.
Right.
Occasionally, once or every 1 or 2 years, take a look at what your competitors are doing.
Yeah.
And make sure your pricing is appropriate.
Right, exactly. Making sure you're in line and making sure what your costs are that are, especially if you're a service-based industry, sometimes it's very easy if you have a product, if the price of that goes up, you automatically, with your markup, make up that money. But sometimes when it's a service industry, but you still use things that go along with doing that service.
Okay, so what are some other things that people could use to increase their average sale dollar?
So using a checklist to make sure you don't forget to charge for things that you are doing, or that you don't forget, again, to educate them on things that you have. Having in-store merchandising to let people know, again, about products or services that maybe you don't have time necessarily to talk about every single thing that you do, but that you can see that in your place. Making sure that you really pay attention to your A customers. We talk about our awesome customers, the ones that are your favorite to do and do what you recommend.
Easy to work with, pay on time, friendly.
Absolutely. Okay. So make sure that you're giving them time and making sure that, they're giving them the service that they want.
Okay.
And then, also suggest the most expensive first. This is something that I need to talk to a lot of different people about because we get so judgmental thinking of what we think the customer wants to spend. But, if it's not necessarily the best thing for them, give them what you really recommend as a professional that would be the best thing for them.
So,
now, if they
a simple example is if you have 3 levels of service, just do them in highest, middle, and low in that order.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And sometimes you don't even need to talk about the other levels unless there's a question, then you step down to level B. Again, depending on your industry, sometimes you'll tell all 3, but you really want them to pick the one in the middle. So you might make an extremely high one, an extremely, or a little bit lower one, and you might be aiming for the middle. But, sell what you think is the best thing first. Don't try to make a judgment based on what you think is in their pocketbook or what they think they'll spend.
To choose.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So again, we talked about our number of leads, our conversion rate, the number of transactions, getting them through the door again. We just talked about our average dollar sale and how we can get them to spend more each time that they're in.
Okay.
So our final one is talking about the profit margin. And, really, if you don't have profit left over, what are you doing in this business? Is this just for fun of the stress of owning a company? So, we need to make sure that there's money left at the end to do what you want to do, whether it's reinvested in the company or whether it's go take a 3-month vacation with your family, whatever it is, we need to make sure that there's money left behind after you have paid all of the bills.
So what are some of the strategies here?
Some of the great strategies for here, one of my favorites is no discounting. Discounting can really add up more than you think. You might just think like, oh, I'll just give them $5 off here and there. But if you add up, and you really need to be, again, tracking if you are giving away discounting, what is the purpose of that discount? Are you maybe getting people in the door more for a sale or different thing like that?
Sometimes you do that and it becomes permanent.
Yes, exactly. And really know what you have given away in any given period of time. So for the month, how much discounts did you give away?
Yeah, where I buy my shirts, they've trained me to not go in there and buy shirts until they have the thing where you get 3 for a certain dollar amount.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm just going to wait because I know they're going to do it.
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm never going in there other than that time.
Unless they have it. Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So, we talk about getting rid of the C and D clients. So we call them our can't deal with clients or our dead clients because they are just wasting our time. So
dead clients are a pain.
They're a pain. Yeah, they don't want to pay their bill. They give your customers a really hard time. They give your staff members a really hard time. Right. They just really suck up your time and take away from your great clients that you could be spending time with. So
what you're saying is if you eliminate some of those irritation areas, you can improve your profit margin.
Exactly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because of the time and energy.
For sure.
Okay.
Yep. If it's a possibility, sell via direct mail or internet to see if you don't have to have the shelf space taken up with as much of your products.
Okay. Again, this is Business Talk with Michelle and Pete, and we're talking about your business, your success.
Yes.
And we're here every Saturday at 1 o'clock.
You got it. We're going to try to make sure that we are being as most efficient and productive as we can when we're talking about our profit margins. So, we are just taking excessive time. Time management is another big topic that we've talked about before in other shows. A lot of our clients are either manufacturing or service businesses where they do an estimate for a job, whether it's a capital improvement or a service job. And we'd like to measure after the job is done and see if I estimated 100 hours to get this work done. Did it take 100? Did I get it done in 80? And how did I do that if we were able to get it done quicker? Or did it take 150 and why? Yeah.
and adjust your estimating process to make sure that you learn from your execution out in the field.
For sure. Making sure you're getting those things done.
Shopping your vendors occasionally.
Right. Yeah. Getting into a buying group is another thing that, we've talked about, either starting a buying group or seeing if there's one in your industry where you have the power of multiple people buying together to get the prices down from your vendors.
You could take a look at your P&L and just list your expenses in order from highest to lowest and look at the top 3 or 4 and see where's the money going?
Right.
And do I have to have everything that I'm using right now?
Exactly. Yep. Knowing your costs, especially when you're in an estimating situation, did you factor in all the costs that are going to be, and a lot of your overhead costs too. That's something that we might not look at regularly. You might be trying to hit up your vendors to make sure you have the cheapest nails or you have the cheapest medicine or, whatever the case is, but you may have forgotten to talk to, the phone company about your phone bill to see if you can get it lower, your internet service to see if you're getting the best deal. Use these people that are, again, competing for your business to get the best deal for you. Also financing. How are you financing the things that you need to
buy?
You
financing? We've got a couple of clients that buy, for example, computers or office furniture.
Right.
They buy it when they can pay cash for it.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's definitely a great way to help that profit margin. Interest expenses can add up, or especially paying bills late. Those can add up. Overdrafting your bank account, things like that really steal away. I mean, hopefully you're not in that situation, but certainly if you can, pay cash or get a zero interest option and make sure you pay it on time or do different things to try to save money that way as much as you can. Again, automating. It's a big thing that's happening in a lot of industries these days, trying to find a way to make things, the processes be more automated, happen without as many people having to be involved in that.
Or even creating
situation.
Checklists or things to make sure that you do things the same each time.
Right.
Usually reduces time and sometimes costs.
Exactly.
Directly.
Yeah, for sure. The profit margin, the same thing that we were talking about, an average dollar sale, increase your prices falls in there, not discounting falls in there, any ways that you can do. So again, we've talked about these 5 different areas. They're getting our number of leads, figuring out how to convert them to be a customer, making sure those customers are coming in frequently or a number of transactions, seeing if we can increase the amount they spend every time they come in the door. Yep. And then making sure that our profit margin is under control so that we are not just throwing away the money that we're making.
Right. And this is all out of a book called Instant Cash Flow, written by Brad Sugars.
Right.
That's available online, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, wherever you buy books online.
Exactly. Definitely recommend you checking out that. But also, you can give us a call if you want to take a look and have a free consultation with us about your business. To learn how we can help you to get strategies and action plans and goals and hold you accountable to getting those done. Just give us a call at 614-306-7922. We also are looking for people to come to our next Growth Club.
Our 90-day planning session on September 15th, and it's 8:30 to 3:30 approximately.
Yep.
You can get there at 8 o'clock and meet the other business owners. We generally have 45 to 55 people in the room. And it lasts pretty much all day, and we'll cover one training topic for about 45 minutes to an hour. We like to cover one new concept because we do a lot of reading, a lot of research, and we like to present some new material to everybody. And then the rest of the day will be helping you, guiding you through a process to create a plan for the fourth quarter.
Exactly. And this is something our customers pay for, but we are opening it to 2 businesses from today's session that can bring 1 or 2 people to attend that day. The first people that call and set up will get to come to that at no charge for the day. It's 614-306-7922. All right. Have a good day.
Will do.
This has been Business Talk, your business, your success, sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed were those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given was not intended to replace that of your business advisor. For more information about the topics discussed today, call 614-306-7922. 614-306-7922. Tune in next week at this time for more Business Talk, your business, your success.